I'm Edie, executive editor of Hub Culture. Very pleased now to be here with author, theorist, and filmmaker Stephon Stewart. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me.
Welcome to COP28. Now, what is an author, theorist, filmmaker from Hollywood doing at COP28?
Well, I figured COP28 in Dubai would be a great place to talk about some of these projects that I have with this book, Dry, about climate change.
Right.
Which will ultimately happen to Earth if we don't figure out this paradox that we're currently dealing with.
So it's a kind of Cormac McCarthy The Road, but with a father and daughter, and it shows what happens in a world in which we are living with what? Above 3 degrees change?
It's when the runaway greenhouse effect spirals out of control and we lose our oceans and we lose our oxygen.
Okay.
Basically the same thing that happened on Venus and the same thing that happened on Mars when Mars lost its ocean.
So give me a couple snapshots from it. It's an incredible graphic novel. It's also a novel. Give me some moments from the journey.
Well, one of the more powerful moments is when the father and daughter, all they have is books to talk about of what the ocean was like in the old world. It's like this mystical paradise in the sense of like how we kind of reference the Mayans and histories of the past. It's almost like it didn't even believe, like it was a dream of sorts.
Right.
And the whole movie, the whole story, they're talking about what do you think the rain was like? Because the Earth hasn't experienced water for eons, basically, in the story. And one of the more powerful moments is when they finally get to the coast where they're trying to find safety and refuge. And basically, they see what the ocean looks like with no water. And it's a very surreal, vivid scope, and it's saying, like, no matter what happens into the future of us as a civilization, that ocean has to be here if we're going to be here. It is basically our creator, our God, our lifeline ultimately, and we have to do a better job with it because obviously, COP28 knows what's really going on.
Yeah.
Some of the world knows what's going on. Unfortunately, these things aren't going as fast as we would like them. So sometimes I feel like an artist's duty is to do something a little profound and actually do something that has some meaning that can potentially inspire the next generation and at least tell the truth of where things will be going down the road if we do not solve this crisis.
So I love that you're a storyteller. One of my favorite storytellers is a science fiction writer called Neil Gaiman. And he says that stories are actually the intelligent beings. They just use human beings to reproduce. There's a sort of symbiotic relationship. And you spoke about the ocean, which is fascinating because we are sitting here in Dubai on the 10th floor of a skyscraper, which I'm imagining, I don't know, but I'm imagining gets its water desalinated from the ocean. Now, we know that in the process of this desalination here in the UAE, tons of brine are produced. That goes back into the ocean and is producing dead zones. Tell me, as a scientist, how you think about that. Give me a little glimmer of hope.
So as a theorist, with this other project I have, I work with Northumbria University. And basically, I feel the only true solution moving forward is going to be carbon extraction and carbon capture. And the innovation needs to drive that. Because, a lot of people don't talk about this, but mineral shortfalls are a massive issue that I don't know how many people will speak about it at this event, but, there's not enough copper, lithium, nickel, cobalt to supply the entire world with a clean energy movement that we keep talking about. And you're not going to tell civilization to scale back and have a great simplification and just be okay with not having too much. Because there is a solution. We can do that today. But from where we come from as a society and as a species, from trapping fire to going to the wheel, the Bronze Age, to electricity, to manipulating quantum physics, to computation, to where we're continuously going. That's how we give ourselves meaning through innovation. So it's like it's a deeper, fundamental dilemma within ourselves. We're not going to stop building. Most manufacturing would have to stop if we just ran off solar and wind.
Which we're not going to do.
Ever. I mean, look where we are in Dubai. Look at all these amazing skyscrapers. How did they get built?
Yeah.
How did this country get founded? On an ocean of oil, right?
Do you think that we have the solutions that we need now? Or do you think we're still waiting on innovation and technology to solve this problem?
I think there's potential opportunities and solutions, but nothing has been clear yet to be scalable.
Right.
With our invention, we're basically harnessing the sun and using that as a photo catalyst. So that's why I'm here too, to secure some funding for the project with the university that I work with, Northumbria University, because I think that is something, in a sense, where people really haven't explored in such a way. MIT just launched an amazing cell that goes into the ocean, has this magnetic property that absorbs CO2. And, you know, it's all about scalability, though, right? Because we're pumping 36 billion tons of CO2 into the atmosphere. And inevitably, that will never stop. And here's another thing nobody talks about. It's called heat waste. Every single piece of electricity produces waste. And that waste, 5% of that waste gets trapped on the surface of the Earth. This paper just got published, and in the next 400 years, the surface of the Earth will be at the boiling point of water.
Right.
And we'll be able to, in theory, boil away our oceans because of the amount of electricity we use.
Well, that brings us back to the beginning. Stephon, thank you so much for stopping by the Hub Culture Pavilion here at COP28. I'm Edie.